Hey guys, and welcome back to Deku Tarot and to your weekly tarot and astrology for May 11th through the 17th of 2020. We've got a lot going on in terms of astrology this week, so let's get right into it here. We have Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn all retrograding this week here. So this is going to urge us really to rethink our priorities, our strategies, our relationships, and our desires. Mercury also moves into Gemini, so it's going to bring up our communication, our interest in communication, and our ability to really have a lot of conversations, and we're going to be in the mood to just talk, say what's on our mind, say how we're feeling. We also have Mars moving into Pisces, and we're going to be fighting from a place of really deep beliefs and spirituality there. Venus, so let's get back into those retrogrades. Venus goes retrograde in Gemini starting this week, and it retrogrades for about 6 weeks every year and a half, 2 years. So this could bring up a lot of hearing from and reigniting old relationships with past lovers, old flames, people that, we haven't heard from in a while, and suddenly we're interested in again, and we want to hear from it. We want to see how they're doing. This is an extremely karmic time, and we're going to be dealing with a lot of unaddressed issues within a relationship. The Gemini energy really helps us to focus in on what's previously been said, especially if you're in relationships or you're dealing with somebody from the past, somebody that's coming back in. This Jupiter retrograde here in Capricorn has you looking back really on your beliefs that inform really your view of the world there, and it's going to retrograde until September 13th. We have Saturn starting its retrograde as well in Aquarius, and it will move later on into Capricorn and retrograde until September 29th. So this is going to bring up a lot of our limitations, our restrictions, our anxiety, our fear in relation to really our responsibilities. Maybe are going to be very tested, and we're going to be forced to learn more responsibility and how to step up to the plate on things, where we have needed to. It could be very hard but valuable lessons here, and offers us to really change and offers us to really recognize and admit the problem and work on it. So that's the astrology right now. We're going to get into the tarot, okay? All right, my lovely Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We are using the Game of Thrones tarot today, and we're going to look at May 11th through 17th. See what's going on. There's some cards that have been very prevalent this week. A lot of fives. A lot of fives. Oh boy. One more here. All right, your cards are a little weird. They're a little weird, let's be honest. Not totally bad though. Your theme this week here, Three of Wands and the Empress. As long as you are able to take action moving forward on what you are looking to manifest, on what you're looking to build and create, and really put your heart and all your energy into within your life, then it will, you will reap the rewards is what I feel. The Three of Wands shows progression. It is a different path forward, but it also, is not the prospecting point. We're taking action. We're seeing action return. It's the time when your ships are literally coming in. That's how I feel about the Three of Wands. I just see Littlefinger here with all these ships coming in. It just feels like literally your ships are coming in, and it's going to herald a new arrival, a new path forward, something new and different. And it feels good because it's progression here. And we also see her on a boat. So it's interesting because he's looking at these ships coming in, and she is the ship coming in. And so how I feel about this kind of set of cards here. And the Empress is prosperity, abundance, growth, and something, again, that you've been manifesting, putting a lot of time, thought, energy, love into here. That brings a lot of abundance, brings prosperity, brings security. To me, she's the mother, the manifestation mother, and she is here to bring in this really wonderful, bountiful energy for you. So progression that you've been making and that you're making this week is going to lead to your ships coming in really wonderful ways this week. Emotionally, Four of Pentacles, King of Swords. We could be holding on to a lot of what we're thinking mentally right now. Four of Pentacles or Four of Coins there doesn't really want to give much away. He holds on to what he's got. He holds on to his convictions and onto certain things that he doesn't want to let go of. So for some of you, watch out in terms of holding grudges and holding on to things that you could very easily mentally let go of, but which you refuse to do so on. The King of Swords is kind of a very harsh energy, and you see things very particularly black and white, and you know, it's very mentally driven there in terms of how we see things and how we are going to react to things. Usually he's in a very, I don't know, he doesn't usually show up as such a negative guy, but I mean, whenever he shows up, you know, being kind of, oh, excuse my stomach, guys, because I'm hungry, kind of like being the Ice King, it just feels really harsh. I can't help but feel, you know, the King of Swords in this deck, it's a very harsh energy, very cold and very distant. So emotionally, you might not be coming across very open and loving and emotional this week, because you might be feeling like you're dealing with a lot of these things that you don't want to hold, that you don't want to let go of right now, or you don't want to communicate about, and you don't want people to know about. So there's a lot of holding on to some mental stuff here that we probably should be letting go of, things that have built up into greater things that we might need to knock down. Okay, things that, like, ways of doing things, ways of seeing things, and ways of treating ourselves, relationships, and our emotional self. We're holding on to some heavy stuff emotionally, some baggage, really. Career isn't looking too bad. Eight of Spears in the Moon. Eight of Spears has also been a very prevalent card this week. And with the moon, I'm not too surprised. It feels like for me that Scorpio full moon really freed you up and made you able to start pursuing things differently. You could be having a lot more opportunity coming in, a reigniting of creativity and your ability to really communicate, especially with work. But for me, this just feels like if you've been very worried about career and things, you know, progressing and getting work again and stuff, there shows a lot of progression there. And after a time of fear, it just feels like there's a lot of peace and excitement. And I mean, you guys like to be busy, so this is busy energy. This is momentum towards your goals, hearing back from people, moving on forward. And if you want to be moving, there is some fear there that you're going to have to work through here, but we could be trying to figure that out, communicate about it, and move forward here. Love and relationship, let's be honest, is a little bit tough. This is where all the fives come in. Five's been very prevalent this week. Five of Swords and Five of Pentacles and Five of Wands. So to me, when you see a lot of fives at a particular, you know, period of the year, a week, whatever, even a day, that shows a real push through. Fives are the moment that ask you to put in more effort, that ask you to fight up against something, that asks you to change. Fives, when you see a lot of them, are, yeah, moments of change here. And we don't want to be sitting at this four energy here when we need to start letting things go, progressing. However, in the case of love, Five of Swords, Five of Spears reverse is a little bit, It's like, for me, this just feels, there's a lot of fight. We might be having, if you're in a relationship or if you're on the cusp of one, whatever, there's disagreements, there's not seeing eye to eye, and we could be feeling, you know, very ghosted and hurt over some petty stuff. Maybe we don't realize that what we said hurt the other person a lot more, and we could be being like, oh, they're such a baby, they won't talk to me now, they're not gonna, you know, they're gonna be this petty, they're gonna ghost me and stuff, they're not gonna talk to me about this, like, why? And we might need to look at this from a different perspective here and really need to face some more negative qualities about how we communicate in our love and relationships and what we fight about. Because Five of Swords is a feeling of loss, it's a feeling of defeat, and for me it often shows up, especially in combination with the Five of Spears, that there's definitely been fights, that there's been disagreements, that there's been difficulties. There's also been a sense of feeling attacked if you do say something, or when you are saying something, you're not saying it very well, and it's only making the situation worse in some ways. So your advice this week is also very strange, but much like I said in that Scorpio full moon reading that I did, if you checked it out, you might need to kind of let the more negative stuff wash over you right now to recognize why it's coming up, where it's coming from, and how we can really combat it this week. Because Nine of Swords is your card here in terms of advice, and that's a really weird place to be in because it shows a lot of mental stress, a lot of worry, anxiety, fears. It's my staying up all night worrying and, you know, having something just go around and around and around in your head till you go crazy. And it's a negative place to be, and it's assuming the worst, feeling very stuck, guilty, trapped in your mind and in your own mental prison there. And that's a very negative place to be in. So with all that negative energy coming up and maybe feeling the worst, feeling sometimes, especially with you guys, when you get in fights with people that you love, groups of people, your relationships, you guys take it very personally. Being a fire sign and being a Leo, makes you very upset. And Seven of Swords reversed, Queen of Spears here. We're seeing our own role in this, and we need to take responsibility for this kind of stuff, yes, but we also need to have confidence that we can change moving forward, or that we can deal with this in a different way. We still have to continue to show up in a higher vibration than we did before about this. Queen of Swords is, it shows Daenerys here, and I think she's at all the fights or whatever, and she's standing there and she's looking very prim and in control, and there's a lot of people there rooting for her. So we need to remember, the confidence in ourselves here, and that we can change and that we can adapt to the situation, because the Queen of Wands is, she puts in that effort. She's very honorable, very loving, very loyal, and more spiritually inclined. So it's kind of working through these mental things that are going on with that Nine of Swords and Seven of Swords reversed, and really realizing, wow, this is where the root of all this stuff comes from, and it affects all these areas of my life, and I've let it affect these areas. Now I need to change. So Seven of Swords is kind of realizing, who is the fox in the hen house, what's been taking from you, what's been stabbing you in the back, what have you been anxious and worried about, or, what is the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now. I'm so sorry. But Queen of Wands shows a lot more confidence and growth in this area and taking control of these aspects of yourself here. So, very interesting energies here. Let me pull a Romance Angel Oracle card. Interesting stuff this week for sure, but your advice is to work through this, to see the truths of the matter, and to reveal these things to yourself. And I think that by recognizing where you feel that Nine of Swords and where it blocks you up, and when these feelings come up, and just sitting with it and trying to understand it for what it is, might be a lot of what this is too. Reckoning. It's like you're reckoning with this dark side of yourself, with your shadow self this week. Interesting. So let's look at love for you guys. Again, let me pull one more with all these fives energy. I feel like we need a little bit of guidance there. Ooh, okay, let's do one here. Retreat. Well, heart-to-heart conversations came out first here. So honestly, discuss your feelings with each other, and then retreat. It's time to disconnect from this world. So maybe it's through conversations that are tough, that are difficult, and maybe, like I said, we're not saying the things that we really mean to say right now, with Venus in retrograde and Mercury in Gemini, and having them both be in Gemini. It's going to be a lot of talking and things maybe that we shouldn't have said. And you said this a long time ago, and it's really bugging me, and it hurt me that you did these things, and I've been holding on to it all this time. Focusing on what's been said. It's a very karmic time, so there's going to be a lot of tough stuff to work through that's going to really maybe set you off emotionally and mentally, but you're working through this because we're working through all this karma with Venus in retrograde right now, okay? So we might need to take a step back from relationships. You might, be having a breakup a little bit. You might be having needing to take some time off from each other right now, okay? So let's pull let's pull a Stacey DeMarco. Let's pull a Stacey DeMarco Halloween Oracle. Big messages for you guys this week, huh? Advice, guidance for Leos from their higher selves. What do they need to know? Jesus, guys. Okay. Let's see here. This one came out first, so I can't ignore it. Let's see. There we go. Should the slinky black cat cross your path through this oracle, know that good luck and fortune will be meeting you promptly. Also know that your luck will be even luckier if you are prepared to take advantage of every special opportunity that comes your way. So yeah, it might be like kind of like, you know, a very misty, dark time right now, but this is actually opportunity for you to grow and to free you up, to see things in a better light so that you can have that life that you want moving forward, that relationship, and you can rid yourself of these things that hold you back from really everything that you want right now. We're really, again, with all these retrograde energies and everything else going on this week, we're really looking and rethinking about all of our priorities, our strategies, our relationships, and our desires. So it's very interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. Have a wonderful week, my lovely Leos. Do be sure to subscribe. Do be sure to leave me a like, a comment, guys. I love hearing from you and I really appreciate all of your support. If you do want to book a private reading, guys, I am still doing 20% off of all of my readings right now. So take advantage of that, and all the information on booking is in the description box below this video. Also, guys, if you were interested in getting, you know, an astrology analysis, a compatibility analysis, numerology analysis, Truly Divine is a really incredible site that offers all of these things, and they're more in depth than any other astrology chart analysis that I've gotten, any other birth chart thing I've gotten, compatibility, numerology. Like, they blew them all out of the water. I cannot tell you how impressed I was. It was like 17 pages of information that was so on point. It was crazy. So do check them out, guys. You can use my code Deku30 as many times as you like, and give it to as many people as you like, and always get 30% off of your orders through them. So check that out, guys, and have a wonderful and blessed week. Namaste.